This is one of the most intriguing songs on an album full of intriguing and delightful Beatles songs, Rubber Soul. And while at first glance it might seem like just another love song, if you dig deeper it becomes rather clear that Girl is much more than just another little romantic ditty. The song was created under the pressure of a tight deadline. The Beatles were in the middle of a marathon recording session at Abbey Road, scrambling to wrap up Rubber Soul before it went to press. Lennon led the charge on this one, playing acoustic guitar while Paul and George backed him up with harmony vocals and their own subtle instrumental touches. George Martin, their producer, kept the arrangement relatively simple, allowing Lennon's vocals and the haunting melody to take center stage. The recording is minimal but effective, with a rawness that fits the song's melancholy feel. Lyrically, Lennon went to a place that felt more introspective and edgy than the typical Beatles fare of that era. Girl isn't about a flawless dream lover. Instead, she's a mysterious, almost dangerous figure, someone who draws the singer in while leaving him vulnerable and hurt. This theme of attraction mixed with caution was something Lennon explored throughout his career, and in later years, he'd say the song was subconsciously about his then-future partner, Yoko Ono. One interesting part of the song is Lennon's use of breath in the chorus, a deep, almost seductive intake that he wanted to be as prominent as his singing. Producer George Martin applied a compressor to emphasize it, adding an extra layer of intimacy, and it's been said that the breath may have been a nod to the smoking culture that surrounded the Beatles at the time. Lennon, always the provocateur, was pushing boundaries with Girl, both in the sound and the words, and the backing vocals from Paul and George are also worth noting. The two harmonize on a repetitive tit-tit-tit during the bridge, something that was apparently a playful substitute for the Beach Boys-style la-la-la harmonies they initially considered. This little bit of mischief was typical of the Beatles' sense of humor and their quiet rebellion against mainstream norms. It wasn't just a song for the charts. It was also an inside joke, a way of slipping something subversive into their work. Lennon would later say that Girl also reflected his complex relationship with religion. The line, "Was she told when she was young that pain would lead to pleasure?" was his critique of the idea that suffering is a necessary path to redemption. This kind of commentary was typical of Lennon, whose mix of cynicism and longing for truth gave his songs a bite that made the Beatles' music resonate on a different level. For all its splendid layers, the song never made it as a single, though it probably could have. It's one of those songs that's become a sort of quiet classic that captures Lennon's wit, his questioning nature, and the band's growing sophistication. And in a way, it paved the path for Lennon's later songs, including Woman, which he described as a kind of sequel to Girl,